Hey everyone, my name is Dan Davis and I've been practicing as a counsellor for over 5 years now. For the last year, I've been running my own private practice called MetaMinds Therapy, where I host counselling sessions as well as supervision sessions. Now, for the last year of running my practice, I've been experimenting with seeing different levels, different numbers of clients. And this is something that I think is really important for a lot of us to identify. What's our capacity? How many people can we actively see in a week without it having a huge impact on us? So recently I've scaled down actually to about 18 clients a week, and I only work 4 days a week there. So I have Wednesdays off, and that's for my self-care. The last 5 years of being a counsellor have been such a fascinating journey for me. I've learned so much about myself, humans, as well as how to interact with people in a therapeutic sense, right? It's a whole different relationship that you have with someone. And as we all know, the therapeutic alliance is the most important thing about change and empowering people. So I find that for me, it's been such a journey because it's challenged me as a person to become more aware of myself and to challenge my ego, right? To do more personal development, to do more professional development. And so I will say that for me, the way that I operate, counseling has been a phenomenal journey, right? You have to be prepared to develop yourself. You have to be prepared to evolve and change. And I would say that that actually aligns perfectly with my values because I'm all about developing myself. There are so many reasons why I love running my own private practice. The first one is flexibility, right? Flexibility and freedom. The fact that I can run off to the gym in between clients when I've got my lunch break, I can go and have a sauna, I can have lunch, I can do whatever I need to do during that time, and I have my own space, right? I absolutely love the flexibility. It's so amazing to me. I also love how I have the option to choose the types of clients that I'm working with. So when you think about the dream clients, the people that you really want to work with, that's something that's super exciting because you have that option. You have the ability to be able to market yourself and align with the types of clients that really connect with you. And so for me, supervision is huge. I love working with other counselors who are trying to develop their counseling skills and they need a qualified supervisor, someone who can actually guide them through the process of even developing their own private practice. That's something that's extremely fulfilling for me. At the moment, I'm working on a few different things. I'm actually developing a course with my best friend, and this is going to be more of a mental health mindset focused course. I also have a podcast called MetaMinds, and so MetaMinds Therapy is my business. MetaMinds is the podcast that complements the business. So we're working on the podcast all the time. We've had a bunch of guests on that are extremely inspiring. And I'm also focusing on helping other counselors scale their counseling business. So through my supervision, I'm extremely passionate about that. I know how hard it was for me when I started out. I had no idea how to start out my own private practice. And now I've developed the systems and processes, and I have such an understanding now of how to build out a counseling business. So that's my passionate focus right now. I really want to help other counselors develop into their own private practice and become confident running their own business as a counselor. For me, the privilege of being in a space with someone where they're sharing intimate details about themselves is such an amazing position to be in. Sometimes they've never even shared this information with anyone else. So you're the first person that they've trusted to come and share what's going on for them and their internal workings, their thoughts, and their emotions and how they're experiencing life. It's such a unique experience being a counselor because as a lot of us are just on this floating rock and we're trying to figure it out, right? We have no idea. This rock's just spinning around in space and we have no idea at all what we're doing. We're just trying to figure it out as we go. And that's the same for a lot of our clients. So to be able to share that with someone, to connect with them, and just to be able to empower them to make change in their life, to better their lives, to support them through whatever they're going through, that to me is such a privileged position, and it really does top me up at the end of the day. Honestly, the biggest challenge about being a counselor is just being aware of yourself, identifying where your capacity lies. How many clients can you see in a week? What's achievable? What's realistic and viable for you to do each week? You also need to be aware of what your self-care looks like, how you can top yourself up at the end of the day, as well as the types of clients that you need to see. And what I mean by that is some clients potentially can be a bit more draining for you, the types of presentations that you might be seeing. So it's important that you're aware of where your energy levels are at the end of the week, at the end of the day, so that potentially you can adjust and pivot if the types of clients you're seeing are draining you. And so that's been a big challenge for me recently, where I've been trying to pivot slightly and figure out what types of clients I want to see and what types of presentations are actually topping me up and getting me excited about working with them. And this is something that you have to slowly start to identify as you're going through the process of becoming a counselor. Thinking back to when I was a new graduate, I remember feeling overwhelmed, honestly. Like I just had no idea where to start, what to do, and what the process looked like to become a counselor. Like I actually knew relatively early on that I wanted to build a private practice and I wanted to work for myself. But when you finish and graduate, typically you need to do some volunteering, or you need to get a job as a counselor. You need to build out that experience so that you do have a sense of the types of clients that you want to work with. It's also great to build up your resume and to work with different people, to have some different references, and potentially to also build out some referral pathways. So I think the first thing I would say to myself at that early stage when I had finished is to start by getting yourself registered, whether you register yourself with the ACA or someone else, but make sure that you get yourself registered immediately. That's the first thing. Then I would suggest that you start to source a supervisor. So look into the different supervisors in your area. If you want telehealth supervision, that's obviously an option as well. And then I think you need to consider, what those first steps look like. So whether you need to look for volunteering straight away, because it can take a little bit of time to get a job. A lot of the time after you've finished your, whatever it is you've done, your diploma, your bachelor, your master's, a lot of the time they still want 3 years of experience. So you might struggle to get a job immediately. And that's why I'd say looking into volunteering straight away is a great starting point. Whether you do that while you're even studying, that's obviously a bonus because then you've got some experience while you're studying. A lot of courses do give you some practical experience as well. You might be working in a clinic for a year, or you might have some form of experience that you can actually put down to say that you've done formal counseling. And then I would say it's all about networking, right? It's all about connecting, going to different chapter meetings potentially through the ACA, or connecting with different people in your industry, connecting with people on LinkedIn who are counselors or supervisors, and just starting to network, building out that network and applying for that work and looking for volunteering positions. I think it's all about trying different things because you might not know what you want straight away. And that's for most people, right? You don't know exactly what you want immediately. And especially after finishing a course, you don't exactly know where you want to be, right? It's like you finish the course, it's a big feeling, and then you just don't know where to go from there. So I think taking some of these more realistic early steps and just taking your time with it is a great starting point. In terms of the future of counselling and what I would like to see happen in the counselling industry in Australia, there's definitely a bunch of stuff that I'd love to see. The first one, the most important one I think, is that I would like to see counsellors recognised. And what I mean by that is recognised more by the government, recognised more by industries. Because there's a lot of counsellors doing amazing work out there, but we're still not recognised through Medicare. And so that would be the big one, right? To have some Medicare rebates for counsellors. That would be huge for clients as well as counsellors. It would just give a flood of new clients to us, and it will actually benefit a lot of the clients because a lot of clients benefit from counselling, and if they can get that rebate, then it's going to hugely benefit them as well. The other thing I'd like to see is counsellors being recognised in schools for those school counselling positions. I think that's a huge call and something that is starting to change, but I'd love to see more of that. That would be phenomenal. And for me, I'm extremely passionate about the creative space. So I would love to see more positive counseling happening, similar to positive psychology, where you're focusing on things that are going well and how you can amplify that and build on that momentum. I would love to personally work with more creatives, people who are content creators, artists, musicians, people out there potentially who aren't seeking support and potentially need some support. So I'd love to see more focus on that, more focus on how we can empower people in the creative spaces to better themselves, to produce better art, and to just become more rounded people. So that's the type of work that I thoroughly enjoy. I love working with people who, they may have some challenges, but overall things are going relatively well. They're just trying to evolve and grow and better themselves. That's the type of work that's extremely fulfilling. And for me, I would love to see more in that space, more in that positive counselling space.